Got this question on Facebook the other day. It's about when to start paying yourself and how much you should invest in your company versus in your own salary. My answer to that is don't pay yourself first. When we were starting X27, both me and Robert had full-time jobs in other places. Robert was working for his own agency and I was working for another agency in New York City. And I kept a full-time job for about a month, then decided to go off on my own, and then joined InspireBeats a month after that. And kept that full-time job at InspireBeats for a little under 1 year before X27 was at a place where it would reliably be able to pay both of us. I even took it as far as going into credit card debt for Experiment 27. I funded the first 3 or 4 months of operations at a loss, just using the extra salary from the agency and credit cards to supplement the entire business. But after InspireBeats kind of fell apart, me and Robert decided to double down on Experiment 27, and the way that we were paying ourselves when it was just us two was, I call it the pirate strategy, right? We would just take the money, the loot, and we would just split it in half, 50-50. Which is fine when you're just starting out, when you're making like 2 or 3 grand a month. Let's split it, let's each make an extra $1,000, that's great. But when things started clicking, right around that time that I found out that strategy for selling reviews, which I'll link down to that video below, the exact strategy we used. But when we started doing that, we ended up making something like $30,000 in 30 days. It was something crazy, like more cash than I'd seen. And if we had just split that in half, $15,000 each, sure, that would have been a lot. But me and Robert both saw the opportunity. Why take this one-time payment when we could reinvest it, hire a team, build out a process, and actually turn it into a business? It's much better to skip out on making $15,000 one time and try instead to build a system that'll make $15,000 a month. And so me and Robert decided that to start, we were gonna take $3,000 a month salaries. That meant that the $30,000 we already had, if we kept doing what we were currently doing, would support us for months. We still take relatively tiny salaries, even though our company's grown, and we tie our salaries to revenue. So here's my advice to you if you're gonna do something similar to us. Assuming you have 2 founders, I wouldn't pay yourself a salary at all until you have $30,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And at that point, you should only take about $3,000 a month. That's what me and Robert did. And then what we did after that is tie our salaries to our revenue up until it gets crazy, based on milestones. I usually go every 15,000 in MRR. So at 45,000 in MRR, we were both making 4,500 a month. At 60,000 MRR, 6,000 a month, etc., going up until it gets to something crazy. And that's up to you to determine what your salary cap is gonna be. I would stick with as low a salary as you can afford, as long as you possibly can. If you run an agency, let me know down in the comments, how do you pay yourself and how did you find out what the best compensation model was? If you found this video valuable, we're trying to hit 100,000 subs this year. So if you could share this with 1 or 2 friends you think would get value as well, that would be hugely helpful. And if you need marketing support for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Thanks.